So, if you are a two-wheel enthusiast, you'll be keenly aware that at the recently concluded EICMA Motor Show, Hero MotoCorp displayed four close-to-production products. Now, you had the X-Pulse, you had the Extreme 250, then you had the Zoom 160, and then you had this, the Zoom 125, and they finally managed to launch it at the Bharat Mobility Expo for a starting price of 86,000 rupees. Of course, the top-end versions go higher. Now, with a price tag that's almost close to a lakh, well, that's messing around in EV territory, and those arguably have better performance and more efficiency. So, in this video, let's see if these can hold a candle to those products and what does it have to offer against its main rival, the NTORQ 125. So, let's get started with the video. There's obviously a lot to talk about. Now let's get to design, because styling I think is where this scooter has an edge over its competition. In my personal opinion, I think this is the best looking one, but obviously that's something which you'll have to decide for yourself. Now, what Hero has done to complement the design is also have a good mix of vibrant color options that you have available. This one is called the Matte Neon Lime, and again, this one is my personal favorite. You obviously have the Matte Storm Grey, which is pretty cool and subtle. Then you have Inferno Red, which is still subtle but vibrant. Then you have the classic metallic turbo blue, the sort of navy blue tinge. I think that also looks really good. But nevertheless, we have the Matte Neon Lime here with us, and we definitely noticed that this caught the attention of onlookers. Now, getting to the design itself, at the front, you have a protruding beak-like front end. I think it's really in your face. It has that bold styling, which is the theme of the whole motorcycle. DRLs, LED lights, and a particular highlight are these 14-inch alloy wheels, which are stylized in this dual tone fashion. With that, you get 110 section MRF Zapper tires at the front, and you get 120 section MRF Zappers at the back, which also give this scooter a pretty chunky, hunkered down effect. Even in the side profile, you have a lot of sharp edges and creases. It definitely goes with the overall bold look of the entire theme. Then you step further back, you have another unique element over here. I think this looks rather good. You have this split style LED tail lamp, and overall goes well with this whole in-your-face design that Hero is going for. Then let's get to the differences between the base version and the top-end version, which is the VX and the ZX. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is available in two variants, which is the VX and the ZX, which is priced at 86 and 92,000 respectively. The main differences, of course, with them, first and foremost, you don't get disc brakes on the VX variant. You don't get machine alloy wheels. Instead, you get 14-inch steel wheels. Then you have sequential turn indicators with the ZX variant. In the VX, you get regular indicators. Then moving further back, you have turn-by-turn navigation in the ZX version. You have a glove box and charging capacity with the ZX versions, and you also have an illuminated start-stop switch. With that, there's one tiny change in the ZX version, which is that you get an LED boot light, which will also come in handy for those tricky situations when you're trying to find things in the dark. So overall, I think for an extra price of 6,000 rupees, it does seem worth it. Of course, it could have been priced a little more affordable because it definitely competes directly with its rivals in that price point. But overall, I think it's pretty good. But then, of course, we come to ergonomics. Now, this is something of a mixed bag. As you guys know, I'm not the tallest of the journalists around. I'm about 5'6", but I feel cramped in this motorcycle. Don't get me wrong, I have enough place to keep my legs, but I will not have any place to keep a bag or any extra large grocery bags. And also, the front console is a bit too close to my chest. So overall, I think it does feel a bit too cramped. But in terms of features, I think it's pretty decent. You have an all-digital LCD screen. You get turn-by-turn navigation. You get illuminated switch panel. Of course, you have the LED lighting. You have a glove box with charging capabilities. And I'll get to this in a bit. And finally, you have 34 liters of under-seat storage. Moving further back, you also have a external mounted fuel filler cap, and you also have a warning buzzer if you try to ride away with this open. And finally, we get to the fit and finish and the quality. Now this is where I feel the Hero Zoom is lacking a bit. This scooter is not old at all, and I do see some blemishes, a bit of fit and finish issues. And I think one of the things which really got me is that in the Destiny you had a charging capability integrated into the front apron. Here you have a port attached to a wire just hanging out in the glove box. This is where I feel Hero could have done a little better, because it's not exactly the most affordable scooter around. Obviously its competition is on par, but I think they do a bit better in terms of the overall quality that you get. Now let's move on to the ride and handling, because there too I feel this is a bit of a mixed bag. Alright, now finally we get to performance and the way this thing rides. First and foremost, this is based on the Destiny 125 platform. It also shares the same engine, but there have been changes made in each aspect. If I have to talk about the performance numbers, well, it makes 9.8 bhp and 10.4 Newton meters of peak torque. And in comparison to the NTORQ, well, that makes 9 bhp and 10.6 Newton meters of peak torque, and that engine has been tuned to deliver that power sooner than this does. As a result, the NTORQ feels a bit grunty, it gets off the line quicker, but this feels more linear, it feels more tractable. However, you will have to deal with vibrations. This has quite a few vibes coming off when you're at idle, but they do tend to smoothen out as soon as you get moving. What I noticed is that this also does feel somewhat equally powerful when you get going. It will feel pretty similar in city conditions, and that's where most of it will be harnessed, the power. But when the NTORQ does taper off, this keeps going strong and it stays in the power band. If I have to talk about some acceleration numbers, well, the NTORQ does 0 to 60 in 8.9 seconds, but that weighs 111 kgs. This can do 0 to 60 in 7.6 seconds, but it weighs 121 kgs. This is even heavier than its counterpart, the Destiny 125. And that's a bit strange. This is supposed to be a sporty scooter, and all that added weight kind of bogs it down when it has to get going. When you feel frisky with the throttle, that's when you feel this will be lacking a bit. But over that, in terms of being an out-and-out sports scooter, comparatively to the EVs or even the NTORQ, I feel this is just not there yet in terms of performance at least. It has the looks going for it, it has the price, it has the features, but just in terms of performance, it is lacking just that teeny tiny bit. And when we do talk about handling, first we have to get done with some numbers. Now you get 14-inch wheels at the front, and you get 110 section tires at the front and 120 at the back. In comparison, the NTORQ gets 13-inch tires. At the front you get 100 section, and at the back you get 110. Now this tire and alloy wheel combination, I feel, is a bit of an overkill for the Zoom 125. It just isn't fast enough to exploit the true potential. So as a result, yes, it does feel kind of stable, but the NTORQ feels a tad bit more maneuverable, more nimble, and of course it is lighter. So as a result, it feels that way too. And that also helps out with the acceleration. And over that, I feel the ride is kind of stiff. The Destiny had the same rigid platform, but that was riding on 12-inch wheels, while this is riding on 14s. This was done in order for what Hero claims is to make it more comfortable over bad roads, so that it glides over bad roads much easier than smaller wheels. But that doesn't work out in the real world. It does feel a bit too harsh. It does throw you off. Now the rear single-sided shock is adjustable for pre-road, as is the Destiny, so you can set that up. But the front, you can't do anything about it. It does tend to throw you off when you hit a bad patch of road really hard and really fast. Now, summing it all up, I feel the Hero Zoom 125, well, it can do the city runs, it can do the highway runs, it can be a grocery getter, it can be a family vehicle, all put together in one. It is definitely a great little product, but I feel the rivals just have that little bit of an edge over it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so what's my verdict? Where does the Hero Zoom 125 fit into its segment? Well, it's definitely one of the best looking in my opinion. It has the features, but where I feel it's lacking is the fit and finish, the quality, and the performance. That's where the NTORQ and maybe some of its EV rivals have an edge over it. Even the Destiny 125 does have a bit of an edge over it. But why you should pick the Hero Zoom 125 is because you like its styling, you want all the features which it does offer, and you want something which won't be extraordinarily more expensive than the rivals. So I feel that is a bit of a superficial aspect which you'll be picking the Hero Zoom with. But it's not a bad thing. You people do pick good-looking motorcycles to stand out and get the attention. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys think about the Hero Zoom 125? Do you agree with the points that I've put across? And well, would you pick some of its rivals over it, like the NTORQ or maybe some of its EV rivals? Tell me in the comment section down below.